Hello, my friends. I am Dr. Dream, and you are here for the It's All Good show. Now, you know how it works for me. I find fascinating people. Most of them I've met before. And I want to share their stories and their energy with all of you. And today is, my guest today is someone that I heard about her for several years from our mutual friend, Dr. Sandra Rose Michael. And finally, this past February, Stephanie and I got to meet her in person. For me to say that today's guest is vibrant and multidimensional is a gross understatement. Okay. I feel her energy just in this Zoom, but I got to tell you, when you're in person with her, just the expansiveness of who she is and the glow and everything about her. She is a spiritual teacher, energy and rock positioning expert. She's a speaker, author, and CEO. Michal Mael.
You got it.
Did I? Okay.
You got it.
I'm just going to say Michal has been in the business of semi-precious stones since the age of 10. She has a wonderful name that she is known by, and that is the Queen of Rocks. And she's best known for selecting and creating opulent energy pieces called Nature's Art Décor and importing and exporting them worldwide. She is also known for her coaching of interior and exterior designers on the function of energy using her signature energy positioning blueprint. And we're going to talk about master heart healing. I mean, there's so much here about her. If I continued to read everything about her, I wouldn't have time to interview her. Her name is McCall, and McCall, thank you so much for being on the It's All Good show.
I love it because it's all good.
It is all good. And that wasn't fluff that I was saying. I mean, when I met I saw you from across the room because it was at the gem show and you were talking. You had a number of people around you and you were showing some exquisite crystals and just, I mean, pieces of nature's art. And so I couldn't go right up to you, although I wanted to push everyone out of the way and just go up and hug you and talk about all the past lives we've had together. But instead, we held back and I watched you. And I watched this energetic glow and this passion that comes through right now in your smile, but in your words and in your movements and everything. And I was just blown away. One of the things I didn't read or I did read it, right? Precious, you've been in the business of semi-precious stones since the age of 10 years old. I want to know how your journey started at 10 and what do you remember most vividly about the first connection to stones?
Oh, so I grew up with an entrepreneurial mom, and she had an antique store that morphed into a bead store with antiques and with anything you can imagine that she liked, it was in the store. It was a very eclectic store. And of course, she was always drawn to the rocks, and so was I. So we did everything at that time was in bead format, right? So my mom was known for her beautiful designs for her beads, her beadwork, and that's how I kind of got to know all the stone names. But when I was 11 years old, I went to Wilmington Gem and Mineral Show, and I got a raffle ticket, and I won. And I won an amethyst this big, okay? And this big, little amethyst, was 4 inches by 2.5 inches, and that was it. It was like, I think I still have it in a box somewhere. I mean, it literally just, I'm like, Mom, this is this is real. Like the other way, it was different when it was in beads because it was like, okay, make a necklace. But that was like raw. It was like awesome. And who knew 9 or 10 years later, I'm going to be starting to help run another person's rock and mineral business. And then who knew then I became the person that owned it for herself. And that whole adventure of really like understanding energy and understanding how energy moves. And, because I'm a Israeli, East Coast, Boston, and I was like, prove it, girl, prove it. No, I don't believe you. Prove it. I'm like, I love nature for what it was, but I never really understood the energy portion until I got a little in my 20s. And in my 20s, it just was like, whoa. And how I figured it out was that I loved the rocks for its energy, and I put it all over my house. I just would collect from all the gem shows that I would be working at, right? And then next thing you know, I bought a new house and I put it all out. And they weren't in boxes, they were all out, and people started falling asleep. Well, what I didn't know is I was really manifesting a house that was so serene. And I wanted a house that just lets you relax. And I would talk about it in the house, not knowing that I'm actually manifesting what I want. People would come over and say, your house is so homey, and pass out. Just fall asleep. I'm like, let me get you a cup of coffee. I'm like, and I go to the kitchen. I come out like a rock. I'm like, okay, 1 person, 2 person, 3 person, 4 person. I said, all right, what's going on here? And the next gem show, I was telling this to one of the ladies that was like a master healer there. And she's like, huh, so you are finding to identify. And I'm just like, I don't know, whatever. And I'm walking away. And then I touched this little tiny, tiny 1 inch, what we call a finger quartz, right? Tiny, tiny little point. And it went zip, zip. And I was like, hey, this thing did zip, zip on me. I don't know what's that? What's that? And she goes, what do you mean? I said, it went zip, zip. I could feel it. I could feel it in between my fingers. She's like, touch this, touch this, touch this, touch this. I was like, oh my God, I feel it all. And that was it. I was hook, line, and sinker. And then I ended up helping a very good friend of mine. And then he went out of the business. And then I started my whole new business. And I was the first female ever in my caliber of importing ever in Brazil. So I was the first girl that came in. People were like, we don't know how to deal with her.
Quite a name for yourself worldwide. You've said that each piece is more than decor, it's living energy. How do you turn into what each stone wants to become?
So I look at the house and I look at the person. We always have to have a very good conversation because it's about identifying what do you want in that room? What do you want to use it for? How do you want to enjoy your room? And then what is it in the future that you're looking for? Is it connection? Is it more wealth? Is it more love? And then we tie all that together to specific rooms and then create it. So we look at the stones for their energy. And then afterwards, we detail it almost like a chakra system for the own house. Yeah. And then we also do it for like, let's say real estate. So somebody wants to sell their home. I could rock it out that it sells. And I have a good story. I had a lady in Venice Beach. She had a house that already had 3 times fallen off because the plumbing was bad, the roof was bad, like everything was bad. Like this house needed to be demolished, right? And I told her, I said, no, the person's gonna come in that's gonna purchase this house, wants a fixer-upper, and he's probably gonna be a firefighter because they get 3 days on and 4 days off. So he has lots of time to tinker in this house. And it's in Venice Beach. So it's a beautiful little oasis. And I rocked it all out. And then she goes, oh, I don't know if I want to sell it. I said, well, I'll take my rocks back then. And then she goes, no, I'm going to sell it. And she sold it to a firefighter that wanted a fixer-upper. And that it was that was the perfect person that didn't care about everything that was wrong with it, which is everything.
I love this expression, rock it out, and even just the energy and the inflection that you give it when you say it. How do you see art and energy like merging when people walk into a room filled with your creations? You've come a long way and probably fine-tuned things from early on when people walked in and they all went to sleep. And so how does it work for you now?
So now I started with smaller pieces. Now I have more really big pieces that kind of anchor rooms. So I'm looking at how do I anchor the space to what I want? How do I minimalize the stuff and just bring a very special, unique piece into that space to be able to? Because they always say, does size matter? I go, depends. Size matters when it comes to a room. There's only so much vibrational field a small tumble stone can do versus something behind me. This one holds the whole room. Look at it. I'm encased with two huge points and amethyst behind me, crowning the whole area. So that one goes all the way out. And this is a banquet room that can hold 80 people.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So, other than the story about rocking it out so the house would sell, share a story of a client transformation after using your energy positioning blueprint for how it accommodated their life and sort of maybe shifted their life or allowed some sort of change to happen for them.
Well, because I also do healing work, right? Mastery Heart Healing. We come together, we really just sit down and we focus. We are working on looking in as much inward as possible. So getting ourselves out of our brain into our heart and we listen. We really listen to each other and we listen. I have to listen and find out what it is you really want. What is it? What is your 5-year marker? And then we position it. So I've done that for a few of my clients, and of course they catch it even earlier. Normally they're like, McCall, my 5-year marker, I came in at year 2. I go, yeah, I know. I know, because now you have 2-dimensional energy helping you. So it's really about each person, it's its own, it's designed for them. It's designed for their whole family. You know, who else is in the house? How do they play a role in the house? What do they want their room to be like? So it's really like a whole family positioning. It's gorgeous because when the kids are involved, when the husband and the wife, everybody's involved, and they all feel the creation around them, it just uplifts everything. So yeah, everybody that comes and does that with me, they're like, wow, I did not even know it can get that spiritual. And for me, my prayer always is that they get to connection. I want to get a little bit, a little bit more connected. I want to feel what I'm supposed to feel right now because I'm missing something in my life. Oh, you're missing something. What is it that you think you're missing right now? Okay, I'm missing this, 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 and this. I'm like, okay, let's just go back into our heart, because sometimes it's not about the stone. It's about how we are and our survival mechanisms that hold us at bay. It's not that we want to be held at bay. It's that we are held at bay from our own limitations, that we have like a different energy that's within us that holds us. And then we break that apart, and then the connection starts flowing through. The rocks are all playing their part. It's like a symphony.
Right? I was loving
It's a
that.
symphony.
That movement. I love that.
Yeah.
So more now than ever, people are getting crystals, like understanding crystals, but you still got to be running into people who see crystals as just minerals. And how do you describe the energetic intelligence within the crystals themselves to people?
Well, I bring it down to their level. I always tell them, I said, if you love the stones for its beauty, then why don't you learn to tap in? If they're totally out of it, I usually just say, the energy part is free, and I was once you. And I said, now I use a pendulum. Before, I used to just go crazy when I see a pendulum come out, because it would tell me that I'd be there for hours until they figure out which rock they wanted. Now have more patience. It's a different world, but I always tell them, I said, it's not like when you're scuba diving. Have you ever scuba dived? It's a different world. I said, the
Right.
crystal world is the same as scuba diving. You're just looking at something new and you're getting to feel it, touch it, taste it, something different. Just like if you were in the forest. Do you not tap into the ground? So a lot of times when I work with somebody that's very religious, I always remind them who built the earth,
Right. Right.
and they go, "Oh, you're right." I'm like, "Okay, thank you."
So, while we're talking about crystal energy, we're talking about wellness. What's the most misunderstood aspect of crystal energy and mainstream wellness?
Hmm. Some people don't believe that the crystals do anything. Okay, they don't want to. And there's a blockage, and that's all that is. I always say whatever is no today is yes tomorrow. Um, as long as you start feeding them a little bit at a time. And I always say rose quartz Hallmark quoted that the rose quartz is for love, so it must be because Hallmark said it.
Love
Or I'll quote them like, look, Oprah was open to crystals. She figured it out. So I just try to make it relative to them. That's really the key is what is it going to help them? Because it's until it goes into their psyche and into their lives, it really doesn't matter. Right?
Yeah,
Until we
absolutely.
until we define how is it that I could service or these crystals can service you and the wellness can service you, it doesn't really, it's irrelevant. And that's the beauty, and after a while you sort and filter. That might not be my client. It might not be my person that I'm going to be working with. And I'm okay with that because I have to be okay with that. This world is so vast, and there's so many people that are ready to be awakened, are ready to be working on themselves, ready to release anything that's not loving and neutral. Why would I spend my time focused on the people that are just so, whoop, no, I don't want it. I'm not interested. That's fine. We'll come
Bye.
in. Yeah, fine. I usually tell them, just walk around the crystals. Just walk around and enjoy the art. And then they come
Right.
back, they go, I really feel good. I said, I'm so happy. Come back again. They go, why don't I feel the same way over there? I said, I know. Come back again. And I don't say anything. And less is more sometimes.
Do you have you must have helped other people feel the zip zip?
Oh, yeah. I love it.
I
I love the zip
love it.
zip.
Rocking it and doing the zip zip. Um, okay, so this is a fun one. Talk to us about the correlation between the crystalline structure of stones and the crystalline structure of our own DNA or
Oh,
energetic
we
bodies.
are. Our whole energetic body is crystalline. In fact, I used to have a master healer that worked with me. Her name, she's transitioned. Her name was Dawn Hall. And one time she brought in Maitreya. And the next time she said, oh my God, Metatron wants to come in. Oh my God, it's metallic. Oh, it's so eerie to get a metallic energy in you. I'm just like, she goes, but I'm going to do it for you. And boy, Metatron is one tough angel to work with. But it just teaches us that we have crystal, we have quartz in ourselves, we have chromium, we have copper, we have, if you start thinking about all the different minerals that we have in our own bodies, of course we gravitate to the earth. That's how we heal. We heal our own body, our inflammation through earthing. What is it? Those are rocks. What are those? Those could be crystal rocks. They could be quartz. They could be marble. Whatever they are, if you're gravitating to it, most likely you have it. And that's the beauty of us being crystalline this time, this lifetime. We should be so grateful that this lifetime we get to be crystalline. We get to be able to advance our energy and to learn how to project your energy, grow and send out your energy. Woo! It's incredible. And the crystals are there. They're like, oh, I'm over here. Come on over here and touch me.
Right.
And I don't have to. I can just I can just zoom right over there and there it is. And we're in harmony. And we are in harmony with the earth. People need to know that. We're not disharmony. We're in harmony at all times with earth. And thankfully, people need to learn also to be grounded on earth.
Grounded.
Because this is where we are. Put your feet on the ground. I wear boots. Everybody's like, oh, you came from LA, you became a cowgirl. I said, yes, I have no problem with that. I have 16 chickens and 2 goats, and I have cowboy boots because they're leather bottomed, and I get to earth all day long. So there's a purpose for everything, and I just feel more energetic when I'm earthing. And that's because I'm allowing the earth to be a part of, people are separating themselves. There is no separation. And as soon as we understand that there is no separation to anything, to quantum field, to the earth, to the crystals, to the plants, to the animals, there is no separation. As soon as we understand that we're all in a specific rhythm and harmonic rhythm with energy, then we're going to feel better ourselves, because we're trying to do a disconnect, right? We're trying to put ourselves either in a box or try to create a box that doesn't even exist. Break it out. Crescendo, I say.
So this whole concept of grounding has to be really important for you, because I mean, I'm looking at what you've surrounded yourself with here and in Tucson. I mean, you had the most amazing pieces of anything that we saw at the gem show. But I mean, this is like, woo, I mean,
Yeah.
So that whole thing of getting grounded and almost having to, I mean, your energy is so just you run it really well, and you're obviously in control of it. But I imagine you've had times where it was like, oh my gosh, I should be tethered to the ground here before I float off into another dimension.
Yes. Yes. My staff usually tethers me down, like, hold on, you have an appointment coming in. Come on over here. And I'm just like, why can't I just be up above? No, the business tethers me down. My vitamins tether me down. So there's certain things, that is around me all the time that help me. My staff helps me a lot. But earthing really, really, really helps me. I like just laying in it and just like lay down
Yeah.
and my knees feel better, my feet feel better, everything feels better. Earthing is, you know what? I love this earth. I love going hiking. I love just even taking a drive, and just see this vast land. And you just see this gorgeousness. You're like, how do you not just want to smother yourself around it? It's like from the oceans to the forests to it's just beautiful. It's art.
You live in an amazing area. I lived in Tucson for years, and it's fabulous energy there. Now, I just want to touch on something. You know how to surround yourself with the right crystals and everything else. I bet the team that you've established, that you've got, and going back to we're all crystalline in nature and everything else, I bet you've really got a spot on team around you the same way you do right here with the crystals around you.
Oh yeah, I love my team. My team are, each one of us are so different. It's kind of like, I have a black tourmaline one. I've got one that's like an amethyst. That's my creative one. That's my amethyst. I would say Eder is definitely amethyst, and Jeanette is definitely my black tourmaline. So I have all different ones that, they, especially my bookkeeper, very grounded. And she's
Has
like,
to be.
yeah, God bless her, she's so even keel. I'm like, whoa, 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 and she's like, let's go, girl. You're with me? I'm like, okay, I need you to focus. Okay, I'm here.
So I'm intrigued. The Mastery Heart Healing. I want to know about it, and I want to know how it revealed itself to you.
Oh, so I spent about $150,000 in self-help. Okay. So from the Tony Robbins kind of stuff, all different ones. I mean, multiple different ones, thousands upon thousands of dollars. And every time I just go back to being who I was. And I was like, okay, there's something going on in my business that keeps going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Other than reality sometimes hits the fan, right? I'm like, there's something that is not in sync with me, and I couldn't figure out what it was. So I spent a ton of money, and then I was given a beautiful man. His name is Matt McGugan, and he was a life coach. And after about a year, he goes, I can't help you any longer. You need to go and learn from Charles McCall. Now he's transitioned, and I got to be with him for many years. And I did every other weekend retreats with him to just do the clearing process of releasing negative energy. And that's the premises of the work, is letting go of anything that's not loving or neutral. And that's a big thing, because we are always processing. We're always processing energy. And after a while, I remember saying, Charles, I just don't know. Is this loving or neutral? He goes, well, is it loving? I go, I don't feel love. He goes, then it's not loving. Is it neutral? He goes, the way that you're looking at me, it's not neutral. So that has to go. But I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. It just needs to go. In fact, you don't want to know what it is, because then your meaning-making machine will go on creating the story. He goes, and for a longest time, I had black. Everybody in the retreats would have these beautiful visions. Black. Nothing for years. And I used to always be like, why? Why me? Why don't I have any visions? He goes, because your meaning-making machine will go on overdrive, and all spirit wants you to do is let go. So just follow direction. And I believed in him. And about 2 years in, I remember one thing, and he said to me, I called him and I said, I want a certificate. Can you give me a certificate? Like an acknowledgement that I've passed like a sector of my life, something. And he looked at me, goes, and everybody looked at him. They're like, only McCall would say something like that. I was like, what? I want a certificate. I want to know I accomplished something. And that's very mundane. It is very normal. It is a very normal thing that we want to feel that we accomplished something. And he looked at me straight in the face and he said, I will never give you a certificate. And I go, no. He's like, I will never give you a certificate, but I will give you your life. And I went, oh.
Right? Wow.
And I was like, whoa. He's like, that I will give you. And that he did. And when he transitioned, he made me promise that I will not let go of this energy and that I will help others. And so, because in the beginning, it was just about me. I was not interested in doing one-on-ones and retreats and all that. Oh, absolutely no interest. I always told him, I'll be your mouth. I'll talk about the work. But I don't want to do it. And he goes, no problem. You won't. You don't need to. He goes, all I need you to be is to be that reflection of a divine being on earth. That's it. That's all we ask of you. Can you do that? I go, that I can do. And so I worked with myself for 20 years. And I'm always a student and then the teacher, always a student. I'm always working on myself. I'm always progressing. I'm always digging in deeper to find things that have to leave. So the vessel will be clearer. And the clearer the vessel, the higher the elevation and how I can help others.
So now you describe clearing as connecting to what's real. What does that mean on a practical daily level?
So on a daily level is walking, stretching, journaling, meditating, and drinking a lot of water. That's a daily level. That's what we do every day. We stretch, we walk, we use our journal, and we meditate, right? And meditate could be something like this. All right, I'm checked in. Boom, I just meditated. It don't have to be a long thing. It has to just be, I'm always constantly checking in. Always constantly checking in. Is this in the right divine order? Yes. Okay, good. Boom. But that takes time. That takes time because I remember when I'll be opening my heart, I'm walking like this, like, Charles, I don't know if I can walk like this every day. You know, he's just like, you'll get used to it. You'll get used to the energy. And I'd be like, oh, I feel like my heart's like the size of King Kong. I'm like wobbling like a pregnant woman. He's just like, yeah, it's okay. And and so that is being a that is becoming a spiritual adult. That's what I call adulthood. Doesn't mean I turn 18, I'm now an adult. I turn 30, I'm now a adulter. It's like adultist. I mean, no, I believe that we're all children of God. We'll always be children of God or the spiritual divine, whichever name you want. Some people don't like the God word. I love it. That's how I
Yeah.
connect to it. I call it Elohim, Adonai, whatever, the consciousness from above. But what the idea is this: we are all created equal. We are all came in with our stuff. We are here to learn, grow, explore, create, and burn karma as a soul. Drop down in this bus for a short period of time to learn, grow, create, explore, and burn karma. If we understand that premises, then we know that we're living in the different kinds of illusions of the life to be able to learn, explore, create, all of that is our life for our soul to learn something new or burn karma, release something from the past. And we go 4 generations back. So we all carry a bunch of stuff, and some of it's not even ours to carry, but it's ours to release.
Right.
And if not, then it goes to the next generation. So let's get her done. This is a window. We have a window of time right now. Massive window of time. Window where everybody feels the chaos and the crazy that's right now. And really, that's when the windows all open up and allow you to tap into the divine to be able to see, is this something I want to be as a spiritual adult? Do I want to be a connected person? Or do I just want to do my Sunday and call it good? Whatever it is, nobody will ever. One of the biggest rules that we have is that we cannot interfere. So if that's the way that the person wants to live its life, this time I will not interfere. For those that are interested in moving forward and really feeling the divinity within them, that your soul grows and expands, and that you feel your heart, you feel the connection, you literally feel it. You feel it. You feel it. You feel it. You feel the connection. Then you're like, whoa, that's what I want. And you know what? What people do, they'll marry somebody that they think will be able to give them that, which is an impossibility.
Right.
The divine connection is a divine connection between you and God, you and the above. And no other human can give you that. They can give companionship, they can give care, but they also need to rise to that level. And hopefully, as a pair, you can. But that's why we see so much resentment, because you didn't love me the way I thought that you should have loved me. I didn't love you because I didn't know that I was supposed to love you like that. And then things happen, and it's sadness. Um, and it didn't have to happen. And I call them little trauma boxes. I walk around and chit chat together. I said, you're here, you're connected to my trauma box. I'm connected to your trauma box. And now there's bigger trauma happening. And if we just peel it back, release our systems that control us, right? Let that go and start purging, you'll see a whole nother human, a person that you're like, wow. That's how you're going to look at yourself. You're going to go, wow, you're cool. I didn't know you were there, And that happened to me. It really did. I was this Jabbar, I'm ready to go. They named me the Hurricane for years. That was my nickname. Oh, here comes the Hurricane, you know? And or they called me the Bulldog, or they called me that. Plenty of names for me, right? And now and there was this one day that I knew I was in the right direction. I had a gentleman that worked for me for 25 years. His name was Jack. And I told Jack, I want to do this retreat, but I have so much stuff to do. He goes, go do it. I go, really? He goes, do it. You know why, Michal? What? He goes, I've always loved you, but now I like you. I was like, wow. That was like, but now I like you. So people can love another person even though they're like, woo, you still love them, right? But you might not really like them. You don't really want to hang out with them.
I
That's
like
pretty
that.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
really cool.
Something you said brought up something that I was at a spiritual music festival this past summer, and the person that's puts this on has for the last like 23 years was saying, "What's all this stuff about adulting? I want to get back to kidding." And I thought, wow, I like that. Enough with the adulting. I mean, I get it. We got to be responsible and everything else. But when you were talking about you at 10 or 11 years old, I pictured this little girl that just had so much energy and was so bubbly and was so. Were you that way when you were 10 or 11?
I was extremely like I had a very innocence about me.
Right.
A real purity and an innocence, and was super shy, believe it or not.
No way. I was going to say, don't tell me you were shy.
Super, super shy. I grew into my skin when I was 13 and 14. But prior than that, I was like, everybody used to say, wow, she's just this really shy, sweet girl.
If
Yeah.
they could see you now. I want to get back to the energy positioning blueprint. So many people, you can't see what I've got going on here. I've got a 36 by 78-foot raw building that we built, 24-foot ceilings.
Nice.
And last year, Stephanie and I were on the road for 11 and a half months. So 2 weeks here, and it was almost like, why the heck did we come back here for 2 weeks? Because all it is like the to-do list is overwhelming. I want to get back on the road. But we're here now for 3 months. And so I'm putting my crystals out, and we're putting the gongs out, and the hand pan, and just getting all of the different energetics and everything set. And it's amazing. So like basically Stephanie and I are nomadic in spirit, and we're off. It's like, oh, you want us to go there? Yeah, we're leaving right now. And I said to her the other day, I said, it's really fun nesting here. I'm loving this. I said, do we have to go on so we canceled like 3 different trips between now and the end of the year. I said, I'd really like to just kind of stay here. I'm enjoying this and everything. But a lot of people don't have that energetic in their home, in their space. Share with us advice that you would give to someone of what they can do, just a regular person who doesn't have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of beautiful crystals. What can they do to enhance their space and love, health, abundance through stone placement? I mean, do we need to spend $25,000 with you to get a centerpiece for? I mean, I want to.
We can do that. So
Okay, good. We'll talk.
There's different things we can do. Okay, we can create an altar in the center of the room. So now we can use smaller crystals, and then I like to create different altars for different things. I want a love altar. I'm going to make a love altar just for that. I want a personal altar. Maybe I want to feel more feminine. I want to enlighten that. I want to feel more connected. I'm going to put a spiritual altar up. I'm going to go ahead and put a money altar up. These are all different altars. And if you want, if you have, let's say, a studio, then you can put them in different areas. And then the main altar, let's say in the coffee table that's in the center of the room, you're going to put in an altar that's all about power and energy. Like that's the key to unlock all the other altars to work. You can also use the ceilings. Depends on which ceiling you have. You can put the ceilings and hang crystals to align your altars from one to the other and create a grid. So there's many different ways we can do that. You use an agate on the base. I like agate for base, balancing the mind, body, and spirit. Then you can put the four corners. You can line that up with kyanite or black tourmaline or selenite. And then you put all these crystals around there. But the most important part of the crystal that the altar that I like is the manifestation that you put there, your affirmation, what I want from this specific altar. Okay. I want peace, love, and happiness. Fabulous. Chunk it down a little bit more. You know, I want my home to feel like serenity. I don't want to work all the time. I want to find a time and a place in which I can call for me that brings me to my center space. And then really design it to what you really want. So a lot of people, you gotta think about it always in a positive way. You know, no no's, no if, bands, buts, no, shoulda, woulda, coulda. All of those are out. It's really commanding what you want. And then either you put it, a piece of paper. I like to use lead because I like it to pencil because lead is natural versus a pen. And I fold it all up and I put it either underneath a candle, underneath the incense, or underneath the big quartz point, something to activate it. So you're sandwiching it, right? You got the agate on the bottom and you got the point on the top or whatever you want. Now, the candle is important. I like little tea candles, okay? First of all, they only last a little bit of time and that's perfect, okay? Please don't burn your house down. So little tea light candle, of course, it be nice and a nice votive, like maybe a selenite votive or a rose quartz votive. If you want love, you put it in a rose quartz. If you want connection, you put it in a selenite. So you guys can create different candle holders and then you put them there, or you use incense. The purpose that I like incense every day or a candle is that you take 3 minutes to be in that space, in that altar, and giving it its energy it needs, and you're giving it, it's coming to you, right? If you, whatever you focus on expands. So I'm going to focus 3 minutes on my love right now. I'm going to light that nice thing. I don't even care if you put a time clock on it. That's fine. But give it a second. Breathe with it. Put your hands on it. Accept that energy. Accept that knowledge. Reread it. Pick it up. Read what it is that you want. Fold it up. Put it there. And then just say, and so it is. Because it will arrive. Promise.
I love it. I have a 55-pound citrine generator crystal that goes with me I can't take it on an airplane, but everywhere we drive, that crystal is with us. And so we put it into contact with 20, 30,000 people. It's gone to Burning Man with me. It's gone to all of our events all over the country. It's the centerpiece. And so that crystal was an interesting story. I walked into Crystal Magic in Sedona when I lived there, and I knew the owner. And they have a very special little room with their higher end crystals. And I saw that citrine, and I said, "Go get the owner and have him come out." And he comes out. He's like, "Mark, what's up?" And I'm like, "Thank you for holding on to this for me. I really appreciate it. I need to take it with me now. What do we need to do that?" He gave me a price, and I said, "Is that the best?" He said, "If you get cash, I'll do." And I ran across the street to the bank and got cash. They said, "What are you buying? A used car?" And I said, "Better for transportation thing what I'm getting." And it's been amazing. Now tell me, do you find that stones choose the people as much as the people choose the stones?
100%. I see that across the board at the gem show. They're like, I like this one. Oh, let me look at that one. I'm like, that's the one. No, let me look at that one. That's the one. And then they go, that's the one. I'm like, I know. I know. And we can pendulum it. It's incredible how you use the pendulum. For those that don't listen within, that is the best thing in the world, isn't it? A pendulum like gets you out of your own way. And it's great when, especially when your eyes are full of gorgeous things, you're like, I want everything. How do I pull out of me what it is that I really want? Because when they come into a place like mine, or in any big metaphysical stores with large crystals, the energy is so overcoming and so wonderful. We want it all. We just want it all. And we don't know what we really need. And so I see that people gravitate to the same style stone. I'm like, so do you need some balance in your life? They're like, how'd you know? I said, you're touching agate. Like every single piece is agate. So you need some balance. They go, oh, how'd you know?
Love that.
Or somebody would be hugging a Fushite, and I'm just like, are you getting a divorce? How did you know? I was like bouncing back from obstacles. It's Fushite.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
awesome. I say, if I can talk to someone for 2 minutes, I hear their story. You watch them for 2 minutes and what they're drawn to, their story right off the bat. That's
Off the
beautiful.
bat. Yeah, I love it.
I have a set of 100 crystals that I have traveled with to do. I mean, I guess they call it now, we used to just call it crystals on the body. I guess they call it now crystal acupuncture or
Oh,
something like that, but where you put the crystals on the body. And then I go through and say to the person, this crystal that's on your heart chakra has these qualities. And then I explain it, and I'm like, so what did that say to you? Because the story, you know yours. I know the crystals. I know why they wanted to be somewhere. How does it relate to their story? And they're like, this was spot on. This was, like that one that you put on my throat was exactly what's going on in my life, and this and that. I mean, it really, it's when and it's a beautiful thing. Now, you're not just a business owner, obviously, but you're a mother, you're a traveler, you're a teacher. Um, I know we talked about grounding already and everything else. How do you juggle all this? Because, I know people out there and they're just like, I'm a mother, that's it. And that's freaking overwhelming for me, so
I remember
share
when
with
I
us.
was when my twins were born, and I have them, and I said I want to be by myself. I'm going to take them to the doctor myself, right? So I went to the doctor, and I'm talking with the nurse, and she's like, who's here with you? I'm like, no, no, I wanted peace. I came by myself with the kids. She goes, you are so calm. How is that you're so calm? I said, well, I've done a lot of meditation, and I'm not 20 having a baby. I'm 44 having a baby. So a little bit different, And I said, I know if I'm calm, my children will be calm. If I'm not calm, my children will not be calm. And so she's like, yeah, but that's crazy because I see people with single moms just literally like melting down with this one kid, with this one baby. And I'm just like, that's, I said, it's a mindset that you need to learn as to stay calm. So with me, the calm is what held me through many storms. I can melt down and I can cry and everything, but the knowingness that I have in my heart that I'm utterly protected no matter what is so strong within me that it holds me to be a great mom and to be a great mom for my mother, and to be a great hostess of this land. And I have also a team that backs me up. I'm not by myself all the time. I do have a bookkeeper. I have somebody taking care of my social media and a lot of that. And that helps me. There's no way that I can do it all. I always looking for amazing team members that are about the light, for the light, and even if they don't know anything about it, they are inquisitive. So The team is everything, and my team can even be my friends, They don't have to be somebody that I employ. My team can be my nannies. My nannies are a huge part of my team, and they
Of
know
course.
that. My nannies, I can't pick up. I don't have time to pick up my children from school. I don't. And they know that. And every now and then I do. Every now and then I give a surprise, and I'm the one that picks them up, and that's like, Mom's here, So it's like, and so I give them, and then we go out and do something really cool together. So there are times that I get to do that. And I really, really believe in quality time, quality time versus like I'm always there versus, would you want me to be always there, but not attentive, or quality time and I'm attentive to you, Let's go clean the chicken coop. Andale.
There you go. Those goats aren't going to feed themselves.
Yep. And every morning, me and Toby, we go and clean the chicken coop and we take care of the eggs and all of that. That's our time. I find that to be so amazing that every morning that's what we do. I don't stay sleeping. I wake up with them. We get everything ready. The nanny's already cooking, getting them their bags ready for school. And he and I are there with our pots of food and grains, and yeah, let's do it, you know?
So, share with us how your children have influenced your work.
Oh, that's a story within itself. So they actually called. My mom called me up because I'm single, right? My mom calls me. At that time, she didn't live with me, and she says, "I don't want you to be alone. Let's make babies." And I went, "Oh, okay, sounds good. I'll be right back. I'm gonna call you right back." And then I went to meditate, and I go, "I have cried for 8 years. I'm cool now not to have children, and you want me to make babies? Really?" and and then here comes the committee, and I hear right there, "Well, my name is Toby, and I want to come down to help humanity, and I want to come through you." And I go, "Oh shit!" And they ain't gonna be no regular kids. It's gonna be little masters. And I was like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so then I started writing my automatic journaling, right? I'm like, "Oh my God," like now they're connecting from above, like, "Oh, there's a whole nother level of devotion. And then I had to make that decision of that kind of devotion. Like that's devotion. That's devotion for the rest of my life, devotion, right? And that was a devotion that I had between me and God. And next thing you know, I see in my writings, it's kept saying they, them. And I'm going, "You mean him, her, like one singular, and they're going in plural." And I'm going, "Oh boy. Okay, well, I'll have one baby and then I'll have another one. I get what you're saying. No problem." Yeah, well, the pregnancy that I have was not so graciously nice. It was a hard pregnancy, and um, I had twins, and that's where the they and them was because it was going to be twins, because I think God knew right on top that I would not run that course of 9 months again. I was like, so I had them, and I knew exactly their names because they told me their names. Jonathan, I said, "Oh, would you like to be called Yona?" And he's like, "That's close." Literally with attitude. "That's close." I'm like, well, what's your name?" He's like, "My name is Jonathan." I said, "Okay, I'll name you Jonathan." He's like, I'm like, "Can I nickname you?" And so his name was Jonathan. They all gave me their names. They came here. You could just see their energy shaking out of them, how strong of a masters they are. And so now we're working with in life form, which is very different than in spiritual form. And yeah, we're juggling being human and being energy. And Yona is non-verbal. Well, he's semi-verbal and autistic, and it's really interesting to function and be. He is so, he will light your heart up. He just looks at you, and you're like, your whole heart just explodes. And everybody's like, I don't understand. This boy just came to me, and I'm in love with him. I'm like, yeah, that's what happens. We call him Baby Buddha. And then, or Baby Yoda, one or the other. He's one of them. And then Toby Moshe is his middle name, and he acts just like Moshe, just like Moses. And he's like the leader. Like, I'm ready, and he's at all times ready. So
Share,
it's wonderful.
share with us your experience with the EE system energetic.
Oh, mm, I love the EE system. In fact, I have a 4 unit in my bedroom. And I go to the system especially when I see Dr. Sandra. She's amazing. I can't have no words for her ethics and for her heart for really healing the world. She was an international healer. I mean, massive healer. And she looked at herself. She says, "There's no way one person can heal the world. So how do I do this?" And so she created this EE system, this code, this ethics, this machines that create an energy that heal. It heals. It heals fibromyalgia. It heals many different things, many different ailments. If anything, it makes you feel good. It it keeps me it keeps me sane, and it keeps me connected and grounded at the same time. It's kind of weird. It does everything for me, but I know collectively that I feel so good amongst that energy. Um, and for my son, he started speaking after he started
Right.
going in the system. And he literally, when he goes to Dr. Sandra's place, the first time he came and he went right to she has a cube right in the front entry. And he went to the cube. Now we didn't say anything. He went right up to the cube and bowed his head to each monitor one by one, everyone. Then went to the next cube and did the same thing. And then went to the 16 unit, bowed his head to each one, sat in the middle of the bed and would not move. He's like, "I'm here. I'm home." It was awesome. And she's like, "Watch this." And so then I was like, "Okay, it's time to eat. Come on out. Let's go eat." And he grabs the bowl. And normally I fed him. At that time, he was really young. He grabs the bowl, walks back into the room, sits in the middle of the bed, and feeds himself. It was a
Wow.
16 unit all around him. And it was magical. And I watched him. I said, "Okay, when you have autistic children, they know they're incredible." And I know it's real. I've watched it. I watched miracles happen. You're a miracle
Right.
that happened.
I got to tell you, that 16 unit is where, facilitated my healing from back to back strokes. That 16 unit in her guest bedroom, walking past the cube from the front door. That's that place. Yeah. Miracle room for me for sure.
Exactly.
Now, I want to address something with you. I mean, I think not as much as when you started, but I think it's safe to say that the import export industry is still male dominated. I don't think that's an overstatement. I don't think that's a stretch. So
So,
here you are, this obviously incredibly powerful woman in a male dominated industry. How have you balanced, like business mastery with energetic mastery to be able to weave your way into this world, and not just into it and work within it, but to have a huge impact?
well, was not easy. So they didn't want to work with me. I was against all odds. Let's just say that. I was definitely, 30 years in. Now it's changed a lot. I mean, some people still say things, but I really don't care. Everybody had something to say about who I was and what I was, and those that knew me, they're like, "No, that's all lies. We know." Um, but I remember the first time I was in Brazil, and they're like, "What do we do with her?" I'm like, he goes, "You sell to her." He's like, "But she's a girl." He's like, "Yeah, so what?" And he's like, So we don't know how to sell to girls. And I'm just like, what's the problem? He goes, he doesn't know how to sell to you because you're a girl. I said, well, just tell him to pretend I'm a man. And then he's like, but she's not a man. And then something happened, and I said, tell me exactly word for word what he just said. He goes, you have good tatas. I'm like, oh, do I? Oh, woo! We're gonna have a good time. Let's
Can't
go.
treat it like look at those tatas.
My tatas won the world, you know. So with my tatas, I now went and bought some lower cut outfits, and I was like, let's go. We're gonna have a good time with
You
these
work
tatas.
it, girl. You work it.
I worked every magic there was. I had, and then we're like family. But in those days, it was very difficult. And over here, even the larger people that have been, second generation in this business, they didn't like me at all. And finally, I just looked at them. They came to me afterwards. Actually, my first gem show, because nobody starts their business at a gem show, at the biggest, largest Tucson gem and mineral show in the world. They all kind of grow from a small store and they kind of leap of faith and they do that. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm just going to sell my house for a box of rocks. So I sold my house and then I bought a box. It's called chutzpah. It's called chutzpah.
I know that chutzpah.
So my dad was like, are you crazy? You did not just sell a house for a box of rocks.
Yes, I am.
Very big box, Dad. Very big box. But yeah, I sold it. I said, it's not making me money, and this is going to make me money, and I love doing this, and this is what I want to do. He's like, oh my God, I don't know. How did I get you? How did I do this? So, in the end run, I did it with kindness. In the end run, I really full throttle did it with kindness. And that blew them out of their socks, So when they couldn't figure out how to take the big rocks out of the containers, or when they needed an extra forklift and it was only mine, they go, just go call the queen. Just call the queen. Just go ahead, call the queen. We have no choice. She's the only one that'll know how to take this thing out of here. Like, oh, you need me? Okay, let's go. Come on, let's do it. And they're like, she, and I would never demise them for that. I taught people how to drive a forklift. I taught how to package it right. I never went undermined them. I went the high road with them. I always went the high road. And that's the reason why I have respect. Like now, after 30 years, one guy from New York that's a big wholesaler calls me up. He goes, you got any Kuan Yins? I'm going, what? He goes, you have any Kuan Yins? I said, maybe. Why? And he's like, I have a client. I'm going to pass her over to you. I'm like going, took 30 years, but we got it.
I have no idea how you were 30 years ago, but I know today nobody can be in your presence and not feel your heart. And that's an amazing quality to be able to be that open. You've got to be strong. You've got to be centered, to be that open. But I felt that immediately from you when I watched you across the floor, and I was just like, okay, I'm feeling her heart all the way over here. And I bet I felt it when I got out of the car. I just didn't know what it was coming from. So I love this. Now, you've sourced stones from all over the world, China, Brazil, Uruguay, Morocco, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Do different regions carry distinct frequencies for you, or is it based on the mine, or is it based on the crystal itself? How does that work?
Mostly it's based on what they're mining, so I'll go to specific areas for those specific stones. But then how I pick them is all energetic. They pick me. So I'm just like, all right, I have to do it quite quickly. It's not something that I can, I don't go and say, oh yeah, I do that with my agate slabs because it's fun for me. They leave me there at night and I just pick until like 11 o'clock at night. I enjoy it. But I do go to specific areas for specific reasons, for specific stones. Like when I go to Uruguay is where I buy those great big ones that you see. Those come from Uruguay. I can only get it in Uruguay. If I'm looking for quartz, I'll either go to Arkansas or I go to Brazil for quartz. I don't really go to Madagascar for quartz. It's the energy is different. Sometimes I go, the carved quartz are best out of Madagascar, but they are out of China because they get carved in China. So it really depends. Everything comes from different ways of getting certain stones, and really, it's in the end, it's everything I do is via the energy. Um, and it's funny because people ask me all the time, like, which is your favorite country? And I'm just like, I cannot answer that question. Which is my favorite country? For what purpose? My
Right.
favorite country is America because I live here. My second favorite country is Israel because I was born there, and I have family there. And then there's I go to China and I get to be immersed. Like I'm by myself going to China and nobody knows English, right? And I get to be immersed in their culture. I go to their dinners with them and I do everything with them. In Brazil, I get to be immersed in their barbecues
Right.
and their special soups that they make only on Sunday. You know what I mean? Like, so each country has something really unique and special. And I always like to tour around when I'm there. I love the land. I love our earth. And for me, I was told many years ago, like, Michal, every time you go there, but you activate it. I do. I love to activate the earth from different areas of the world. And one person was very interesting. He said, "You are the peacekeeper of the earth." I go, "I am." He goes, "Yes." And then he looked at me, he goes, "And I'm saddened that you haven't been to India because that's my country." I was like, "Oh, I should go." you
You
know,
you still haven't been to India?
India, I have not been to. Mm-mm.
I've not been there. I'll take a trip with you.
Right? I think
Hey,
India
listen.
would be a really beautiful, especially near the Himalayan mountains. That is my all. I want to do that trip. Yeah.
So we spent a month in Nepal right before COVID because our bowls are all sourced from
Yes.
villages, and at that point we had moved over 7,000 bowls for the villages, and they said you want to see us, we want to see you. Come to Nepal, and it was when you have that kind of connection, it's really a beautiful thing. We're excited to go back one day. Now, you must have like many moments where you're in a mine or you're with a crystal, and there's like some sort of spiritual initiation that happens for you. Share a story like that where I mean I've not been in a crystal mine, so I can't even imagine how the energy would be, but what's it like for you, particularly being so energetically connected?
Well, I was in one, I've been in multiple mines, but the one that I always felt gravitated to is the Uruguayan mine. And there's only like five mines, which only two running mines right now with the great big ones. And as they're opening it up, I get to go inside. I actually crawl into the geode itself. And it's just magical to be there for a second and enjoy it before it's even out. Like in the mine, it's cold, it's damp, it's musty, and it's like, here is Mother Earth. Like I'm under it, like I'm in the Mother Earth. I there's not that much words to explain it. I don't know how to explain that feeling. Um, other than very grounded, very, very, very grounded and very humbled. I'm very humbled when I go into spaces like that because it's like, wow. Even when I go to the Ketchikan, the taverns and stuff like that, and I go in those caves and I see the stalagmites and stalactites,
Right.
and I'm just in awe. The awe feeling of this earth, that's what I feel. I feel the awe of it. It's like, ah. And people are like, come on, let's keep moving. I'm like,
No. Now, there's no mistaking your respect and the honor that you have for the earth. Now, how do you ensure ethical and eco-conscious sourcing, in your business?
So with me, it's like, so one time they had a bunch of stalagmites. And I said, I don't condone stalagmites. I don't condone killing an actual cave
Because
that's
they're
a
living,
living. It's
right?
living. I said, so no, I won't touch those. I literally cried. I watched them one time and I was crying. And the Chinese guys were like, why are you crying? I'm like going, you're pouring acid onto a stalagmite. Do you not know that that was alive? And then they were like, oh, Mickey, Mickey, Mickey. And I'm like, no,
No.
I feel the pain of that crystal right now. And I'm like, oh my God, I was heartbroken. Um, and then when it comes to Arkansas and the way that they do it very ethically. Okay. They ethically extract the crystals. Same as agate. Agate is a very ethical way. It's actually in soy country. It's and we actually help them get rid of all of these geodes that are interfering with their farming. So we did big big trucks that come in and they pull out all of them, and then we pull out all the ground right back, and then they use it as soy farm. But we
Nice.
actually help them farm it out. So a lot of the products or the stones that we bring is all ethically sourced. Um, at least I do. I know the miners, so I know how they do it. You know,
Okay.
I know how. I'm in the mine. I know
Right.
how they do it. So and they do it in a way that preserves as much as possible as nature. And at the same time, we wouldn't be able to hold energy and be able to tap into that energy if it wasn't out, right? So we need these. Of course, like the one in Mexico, I can't remember the name of that mine, that selenite, that giant selenite mine.
Seen pictures.
Yeah, and they shut it down and they kept it. They didn't destroy it, and I was like so grateful for that because that keeps our earth the way it is. And I think it was should have stayed there. Don't chop up everything. Let certain ones are supposed to come out, they do come out. And the certain when they don't, they're not supposed to come out. It's supposed to stay
Now,
there.
was it selenite where they said, obviously it's always been on the planet, but we weren't vibrating at a high enough frequency to see it? That's why it became very popular, in the last decades, whereas before that it wasn't so much out there. Was that selenite they were talking about?
Selenite really boomed. Like the Moroccan selenite really did boom. And for me, the energy of selenite is exactly that. It's that white light to allow you to feel that light of consciousness. It also is a protector, and it also lets you heal and release negative energy very well. So it's this really beautiful, like, let's clean you up and let's get you connected. It's a clean and connect. But, some people need to feel that tap of energy. And when a lot of them that I do the white light energy and I bring it right through their body, it's actually creating almost like a selenite energy that goes through them.
I love it. I love it. We have done a lot of gridding in our place and our different altars with selenite. I really like that. Now, tell me, the humanity is changing and shifting, and the frequencies. Nothing is as it was before. How do you see the role of crystal energy evolving in the next decade with everything that's shifting and changing?
I think it's going to be an integral part. I don't think that we're going to start separating. We're going to start embracing all of that. Not just all energy is being embraced right now. All energy, crystalline energy, earth energy, conscious energy. We're creating that sphere and we're going to be wrapped around it. We're going to be encased around it. It is not going to be something that's over there and this is over here. It is going to be like we're all lining up to it. That's all we're doing. We're lining up to what's happening right now. And those that are not lining up are feeling the disconnect. Okay. And hopefully, I pray, that's my prayer all the time, is that those that are feeling the disconnect find somebody clear to be able to do the work and to help them get that connection. More people are finding like I have lots of people that come to me and they go, I cannot stop crying. I don't know why I'm crying though, but I can't stop crying. I said, okay, you're full. That's why. You're energetically full. You have a bottle and you're at the top, and all you can do is pour out. It's time to release. It's time to let go. And we're going to have to find a new way, because the church might not be the one that does it. The synagogue might not be the one that does it. The mosque might not be the one that does it. It might be, yeah, your heart. Take a walk in the forest. Find it. Breathe. Breathe. We don't breathe anymore. Breathe, right? Take a deep breath. Hold it. Release it. In through the nose, hold 5, and then out through the mouth. And if we start to learn that, we start to find that we can find energy everywhere. I can feel the energy right here.
Yeah.
I don't have to do this, but this is another way of gauging. So everybody rub your hands really hard and then do that. And you will find that you can actually feel the pulse of how far. And the more that you work it and the more that you clear, then you'll be panning this way. And this is the way that Yeshua panned. And this is the way the high priestess and the high priest pan. They pan out. The energy comes through their hands, just like with Yeshua. That's why they nailed his hand.
Right.
But he still was able to emanate. We are emanating beings. What do you want to emanate? It's the biggest question. What do you want to emanate? And if you want to emanate love, peace, tranquility, health, then you need to work your energy body. You need to clear, because it gets stuck in our joints and it gets stuck in our stuff, in our body. And that creates, what does it create? It doesn't create a disease. It creates a dis-ease.
Yes.
And sometimes we don't even notice that that's what we're doing, because we're getting in that, we get into that sometimes in too much chaos. And we create that.
That's
And we have to
exactly.
learn to shift it to a whole new paradigm. We're in a new paradigm. If you like it, if you don't like it, it's here. It's
Doesn't
now.
matter. It's happening.
It's happening.
Let me ask you, if every crystal on the earth got together to give humanity one message, what would that message be, McCall?
Ooh. I hear, create peace on earth. Be one with all. There is no separation between myself, I, the creator, the earth. Be known as the person of humanity. Come together for peace. No more war. Release, let go. Create a community around yourself, around your home, in your neighborhoods, in your cities, and around the world. Be that you think you can be, you can. Bring in the crystal into your heart and know that each facet of the crystal plays a role in your development, in your consciousness, and in your connection to the divine, in which we are all connected equally.
So beautiful. Thank you so much. You are an amazing, beautiful soul. I have one final question for you. When we say it's all good, what does it mean to you?
Oh, it's all good. It means I'm allowing for life to be, and I'm allowing myself to process, and I'm allowing myself to connect, and I'm allowing myself to be who I am and to be a beingness of the creator for the purpose of sharing energy. So it's all good it's all good. Be here, be now.
Thank you. I want to thank you for taking the time to be on the It's All Good show. I just about called you the Queen of Hearts, but you are the Queen of Rocks. But you could very easily be the Queen of Hearts. I have such tremendous respect for you. We haven't spent a lot of time together, but I just will jump right out of any hesitation and say I absolutely love you. I am so fortunate to have met you. I'm looking forward to more time with you. I have a collaboration in mind for us, and this has been fabulous, and the time has just flown by. You are an exceptional human being, and my show is better because you were on it. Thank you very much, dear.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you.